This is the Edexcel Foundation Tier Paper 3 calculator paper from June 2022. Question 1 says write 35% as a fraction. Percent means out of 100. 35% as a fraction is 35 hundredths. We could also use the calculator for this question. If we get our calculator and write in 35%, so 35 shift and then this percent button, press equals, we get a fraction which is 7/20ths, and that is the same as 35 out of 100 simplified. So we could also give our answer as 7/20ths. Question 2, work out 1/4 of 28. When we have of, it means times. So it's 1/4 times 28. So we could type this into the calculator, or you could work out 1/4 of 28 by dividing it by 4. So either one of those methods. So 1/4 of 28 is 7. Question 3, write down 2 factors of 12. So the factors of 12 are the numbers that multiply to make 12. So 12 is 1 times 12, 2 times 6, or 3 times 4. So the factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So any 2 of those would be okay for this mark. So I can write 6 and 12. Question 4, simplify 2m times 3. 2m means 2 times m. So we've got 2 times m times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And we've got 6 times m, which we just write as 6m. Question 5, find the square root of 1.69. So in our calculator, press the square root button. I then write 1.69. Press equals, we get 13/10, or as a decimal, 1.3. Question 6. On the grid, draw a quadrilateral, so it's a 4-sided shape with no lines of symmetry and a rotational symmetry of order 2. So no lines of symmetry, but when we spin it around, it looks the same. So we are after a parallelogram. So any parallelogram would be okay here. So it's got 2 sets of parallel sides. So there's no lines of symmetry. And if you spun it around so it looks the same as it does now, again, if it's upside down. So 1, 2 times, it looks the same if you spin it around. So it's got a rotational symmetry of order 2. Question 7. The table shows the total number of apples sold and the total number of oranges sold in a shop in each of 3 weeks. In total, for the 3 weeks, more apples than oranges were sold. How many more? So we can work out how many apples were sold by adding the apples together. So that's 86 in week 1, 75 in week 2, and 92 in week 3. So 86, 75, and 92 add up to make 253. We can do the same for the oranges. So 68, 80, and 76. 68 plus 80 plus 76 is 224. So how many more apples were sold? So we'll do the number of apples sold, 253. Take away the number of oranges sold, 224. So 253 take away 224 is 29. So that is our answer. There are 29 more apples sold than oranges. Question 8. Here are the first 5 terms of a number sequence. Write down the next 2 terms of this sequence. So we can see that every term is 5 more than the previous term. To go from one term to the next term, we add 5. So 23 plus 5 is 28, and then 28 plus 5 is 33. Jim says that 50 is a term in this sequence. Jim is wrong. Explain why. So we could keep adding on 5 and show that 50 is not in it by showing the sequence goes past 50, or we could just say that every term ends in a 3 or an 8. So it's going to go 33, 38, 43, 48, 53, 58, and so on. So every term ends in 3 or 8. Question 9. The diagram shows a solid triangular prism. Write down the number of faces of the prism. So we've got this triangle on the front. So this shape on the front is one face. We've got the same shape on the back, the same triangle on the back. That's another face. That's 2. And then we've got a rectangle on the bottom. That's 3 faces. And then a rectangle on one side, a rectangle on the other side. So we've got 5 faces. So we've got 5 faces. Write down the number of edges we have. So how many edges do we have? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 edges. Question 10. Here is a list of 8 numbers. Kim picks random one of these numbers. On the probability scale below, mark with a cross the probability Kim picks a 7. So how many 7s are on our list? There are none. So the probability of getting a 7 is 0. There's no chance that we get a 7 because there are no 7s. On the probability scale below, mark with a cross the probability that Kim picks a number greater than 5. So greater than 5, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers out of 8 in total. So 4 out of 8 is the same as a half. So that's 1/2. Find the probability that Kim picks an even number. How many even numbers are there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 even numbers out of 8 in total. So 5/8. Question 11. Sunita wants to make 35 picture frames. She needs 4 nails for each frame. She has 3 boxes of nails. There are 48 nails in each box. Has Sunita got enough nails? So 35 picture frames. Each need 4 nails. So 35 times 4. So she needs 140. 140 nails needed. She's got 3 boxes with 48 in each. So how many does she have? 3 times 48, 144. So does she have enough? Yes, she has 144 and she only needs 140. Question 12. Write 60 meters as a fraction of 1,000 meters. Give your answer in its simplest form. So 60 as a fraction of 1,000. That's not in its simplest form, but we can ask the calculator to simplify it for us. So 60 over 1,000 is 3/50ths. So that's our answer, 3/50ths. Question 13. The accurately drawn map shows the positions of 3 points A, B, and C in a field. We're told 1 centimetre is 150 metres, and Parveen walks in a straight line from A to B. She then walks in a straight line from B to C. So A to B and then B to C. Susan walks in a straight line from A to C. Parveen walks more metres than Susan. How many more? So Parveen goes from A to B. So let's get our ruler. Measure A to B, which is 5. A to B is 5 centimetres. So A to B is 5 centimetres. She then walks from B to C. So from B to C, from B to C is 4 centimetres. So B to C is 4 centimetres. So Parveen walks 4 plus 5, which is 9 centimetres. We're going to have to convert that into metres, but we can do that by timesing by 150. Susan walks from A to C in a straight line. So A to C is 7 centimetres. A to C is 7 centimetres. So A to C is 7 centimetres. So how many more metres? Well, 2 more centimetres. So 2 centimetres, and each centimetre is 150 metres. So we can do 2 times 150, and we get 300 metres more. Find by measurement the bearing of A from C. So the bearing of A from C means we're starting at C and we want to go to A. And with a bearing, we always measure it from north and we go clockwise. So we're going from C clockwise, which means this angle here is the one we want to measure. So I'm going to measure this angle here, and I'm going to do 360, take away my answer. So I'm going to line up the center with the cross, and I'm going to line up 0 with my line, and it looks like I have just over 70, 71 or 72 degrees. So I've got 72 degrees. So my bearing is going to be 360, take away 72, which is 288 degrees. Question 14. Here is the shoe size of each of 12 boys in a class. Find the median. So the median is the middle number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're left with 2 in the middle. They're both 7. If they were different numbers, I'd say halfway between them. But halfway between 7 and 7 is 7. So the median is 7. Work out the range. The range is the biggest number. Take away the smallest number. So 9 take away 4, which is 5. for the shoe sizes of each of 12 girls in the class, so these are boys, 12 girls, the median is 6 and the range is 3. Compare the distribution. So we're going to compare the medians. So the boys' median shoe size is greater. And the range of the girls is 3. The range of the boys is 5. So the range of the boys' shoe sizes are more spread out. Of the boys' shoe sizes is greater. So they're more spread out. Question 15, work out. So we can just type this one into our calculator. So we've got 2.75. So I'm going to press the fraction button first. On the top line, 2.75 times 14.6 divided by 10 minus 1.97. I'm just going to press the equals button and we get an answer of 5. Question 16. On the centimetre grid, draw an isosceles triangle. So an isosceles triangle has got 2 sides the same and 2 angles the same. An isosceles triangle with an area of 12. So to have an area of 12, so the area of a triangle is half the base times the height. Half times base times height. So if half of the base times height is 12, that means the base times the height must be 24. So what numbers multiply to make 24? I could do 1 and 24, but I don't think I'll have enough squares to do 24. I could do 2 times 12. If I've got 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I can't do 2 times 12. I can do 3 times 8 or 4 times 6. So the base and the height either way round. So I could have a base of 8 and a height of 3, or a base of 3 and a height of 8, or a base of 4 and a height of 6, or a base of 6 and a height of 4. So any of those combinations. Let's do a base of 6 and a height of 4. So the base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to have two equal sides. So it's going to, if it's 4 tall, the middle of our base will be the peak, the apex. So there's one length, there's the other. So I've got a base of 6, a height of 4, so the area is 12 centimeters squared. Question 17, expand. Expand means get rid of the brackets. We times the term on the outside by both the terms inside. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times minus 2x, a positive times a negative is negative. 3 times 2 is 6, so 3 times 2x is 6x. Solve. 3y divided by 4 equals 12. To get rid of a divide by 4, I do the opposite of dividing by 4. That's multiplying by 4. So I'm going to times both sides by 4. So 3y equals 12 times 4, which is 48. So 3 times something is 48. 3 times what is 48? Well, I could divide both sides by 3. 48 divided by 3 will tell us the answer, and that is 16. 3 16s make 48. And part C says factorize. Factorize means put into brackets. So I'm going to have one bracket. What can I take out of both of these terms? So I've got 4p and 6. I can take 2 out of both of them. So 2 can come on the outside, and then 2 times something is 4p. That's 2p. 2 times something is 6. That's a positive 3. Question 18. Part A, write 2,530 correct to 2 significant figures. So we want 1, 2 numbers, 1, 2. The next one's a 3, so it's not going to round up. So it's going to be 2,500. We put zeros in place of the digits after our 2 significant figures, so they keep their place value. This is 2,000. This one is 500. So they've got to keep their place value, so it's 2,500. Write 0.0874 to 1 significant figure. So we don't start counting significant figures until we get to a non-zero number. So the 8 is our first significant figure. The number after it is 5 or above, so it rounds up. So that will go to a 9, 0.09. Question 19. There are 400 counters in a box. The counters are red or yellow or green. 3 apes are red. Let's work that out. So 3 apes of, so times 400. 3 apes of 400 is 150. So that's red. 82 are yellow. What percentage are green? So the rest of them are green. So 400, take away 150, and take away 82. Means that there are 168 left. So 168 green. So what percentage is the question? Let's write it as a fraction. 168 out of 400. 168 out of 400. 168 out of 400 is the same as 21 out of 50, which we could use. So we could say 21 out of 50, double the top and bottom to make it out of 100. A percentage is the same as a fraction out of 100. So that would be 42%. We could have also used the calculator, pressing this S to D button to get 0.42. So 0.42, to change it to a percentage, times 100. So 42%. We could have also done this in one step. If I did 168 out of 400 times 100, so to change a fraction or a decimal to a percentage, times by 100. And we get 42, so 42%. Question 20. In the diagram, PQR is an isosceles triangle with PQ equals PR. So this is an isosceles triangle. And we've got APR and CQD are parallel lines. BPQ, B to P to Q, is a straight line. We're given angle APB is 56 degrees. We need to work out the angle CQR. So C to Q to R is all of this angle here. So we can use angles in parallel lines. So we've got corresponding angles. So these two angles, when we have parallel lines and the line going through them, so this line goes through the parallel lines, it makes the same angles with both parallel lines. So if this angle is 56, it's the same angle here. They're called corresponding angles. So CQP or CQB, either way, is 56 degrees because corresponding angles are equal. Corresponding angles are equal. We can work out QPR because opposite angles are equal. So QPR is also 56 degrees because opposite angles are equal. And then we can use this isosceles triangle. So the angles at the base of an isosceles triangle are equal. So they must be the same. Angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if we take away the 56, 180 take away 56, that means these two angles must add up to 124. So they're both 62. So angle PQR is 62 degrees because the angles at the base of an isosceles triangle are equal. So that means we've got our angle, it's 56 plus 62. 56 and 62 make 118 degrees. Question 21. Work out the lowest common multiple of 24 and 56. So it's the lowest number that's in the 24 times table and the 56 times table. One way of doing this is to write both of them as a product of their prime factors. So break these two numbers down into prime factors. So 24 is 2 12s, 12 is 2 6s, and 6 is 2 3s. So 24 can be written as 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. 56 is 2 28s, 28 is 2 14s, and 14 is 2 7s. And they are all prime numbers now. We can't break them down any further. So 56 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. We want the lowest common multiple. I'm going to draw a quick Venn diagram. So one circle for 24, another circle for 56. So we've got 24, we've got 56. They've both got 1, 2, 3 2s. They share 3 2s. So they go in the middle. And 24 has also got a 3. And 56 has also got a 7. The lowest common multiple is all of these numbers times together. 3 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. Or our 24 circle, which is 3 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. So 24 times 7 is 168. Question 22. Here is a right angled triangle. Work out the value of x. So when we've got 3 lengths, or 2 known lengths and an unknown, in a right angled triangle, we can use Pythagoras. Pythagoras' theorem says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The two short sides squared and added together equals the long side squared. So 4 squared plus x squared equals 8.5 squared. And to get x squared by itself, we take away 4 squared from both sides. So 8.5 squared minus 4 squared is 56.25, So x squared is 56.25. To get rid of a squared, we do the opposite of squaring, and that is called square rooting. So the square root of 56, the square root of 56.25, square root, the answer, is 15/2, or 7.5. So x is 7.5. Question 23. T is equal to 4m squared minus 11. Work out the value of t when m is -3. So t is 4 times m squared minus 11. And we're substituting in for m -3. So I'm just going to type this into the calculator. So I've replaced m with brackets, and I'm putting the number I'm substituting in inside the bracket. So 4 times -3 squared minus 11 is 25. Part B, make P the subject of the formula. So D is equal to 3P plus 4. We want P by itself. So I'm going to get rid of a plus 4. To get rid of a plus, we do the opposite of adding, which is taking away. So D minus 4 equals 3P. Now I want P by itself. At the moment, it's multiplied by 3. So we do the opposite of multiplying by 3, and that's dividing by 3. So D minus 4 divided by 3 is equal to P. So now P's by itself. That's our answer. Question 24. Rick, Selma and Tony are playing a game with counters. Rick has some counters. Selma has twice as many counters as Rick. Tony has 6 counters less than Selma. In total, they have 54 counters. And so we can use that information to work out how many they each have. And then the question says the number of counters Rick has to the number of counters Tony has is 1 to P, work out P. So let's do this one step at a time. Let's work out how many counters they have. So Rick has some counters. I'm going to use algebra. I'm going to form an equation. I'm going to say Rick has R counters. Selma has twice as many as that. 2 lots of R is 2R. And Tony has 6 less than Selma. Selma's got 2R. So 6 less is 2R minus 6. In total, they have 54. So in total, that means all added together, R plus 2R plus 2R minus 6 is 54. So 1R plus another 2R plus another 2Rs make 5Rs. So 5Rs minus 6 is 54. So let's solve this equation. Let's get rid of the minus 6 by adding 6 to both sides. 54 plus 6 is 60. So 5 times R is 60. So divide both sides by 5. R is 12. So Rick has 12. So Rick has got 12. Selma's got twice as many, which is 24. And Tony's got 6 less than Selma, which is 18. The question said the number of Rick has to the number of Tony has as a ratio. So Rick to Tony is 12 to 18. We want it in the form 1 to P. So 1 to something. So to get from 12 to 1, we divide by 12. So to get to 18 to this number, we divide by 12. 18 divided by 12 is 1.5, 1.5. So it's 1 to 1.5. So work out the value of P. P is 1.5. Question 25. Joe is going to buy 15 rolls of wallpaper. Here is some information about the cost of rolls of wallpaper from each of 2 shops. So we have Chic Decor, and they're selling 3 rolls for £36. And Style Papers, a pack of 5 rolls normally costs £70, but there's 12% discount. So we're going to buy 15 rolls as cheaply as possible. Who do we buy it from? So Chic Decor is very easy. So 3 rolls for £36. I want 15. I'm just going to times it by 5. So 15 rolls for 36 times 5, which is £180. So £180 at Chic Decor. At Style Papers, 5 rolls for £70 and a 12% discount. So we can work out the discount now off of £70 and then times by 3, or times by 3 and then take off the 12% discount. It'll be the same answer either way. So let's go for 3 70s, which is 210. £210, but with a 12% discount. So 12% of 210. So I can do 12% times 210. That will give me the discount, or 0.12 for 12% times 210. It will give me the same answer. So the discount is £25.20. That's the discount. So if I take it away, it will tell me the price. So 210, take away the discount, is £184.80. I could have also done that in one calculation. So I could have said to take 12% off, it's 100%, take away 12%, which will leave me with 88%. So I could have said I want 88% of 210 and got to £184.80 in a single calculation. But we've got our prices now, so Chic Decor is cheaper. £180 is less than £184. Question 26. The table gives information about the lengths in centimeters of some pieces of string. And Amos draws a frequency polygon for the information. We need to write down 2 mistakes that Amos has made. So whenever we have a question like this, always look at the scales. And you can see here that 40 is missing. So it goes from 30 to 50, 10, 20, 30, 50, 60. So 40 is missing. And then it's a frequency polygon. So we should be plotting the midpoint against the frequency. So it should be 5, 15, 15, 20, 25, 50, 35, 25, and 45, 5. So the points have been plotted at the midpoint apart from the last one. So the last one should be at 45. That's the midpoint, 45, not 50. So 2 mistakes. 40 is missing from the vertical axis. We could say that it's not linear, it jumped by 20. And the last point, we can say it's not at the midpoint, or we can say it should be at 45, 5. I'll just write is not at the midpoint. Question 27. Jessica runs for 15 minutes at an average speed of 6 miles per hour. She then runs for 40 minutes at an average speed of 9 miles per hour. It takes Amy 45 minutes to run the same total distance that Jessica runs. Work out Amy's average speed. So we need to use the information from Jessica to work out the distance, and then we can work out Amy's speed. So we can say we're using speed equals distance over time. So if I'm working out distance, it's going to be speed times time. So for Jessica, 15 minutes at 6 miles per hour. So the distance one, her first distance, is a speed of 6 and a time. I don't want to use 15 here. I've got 15 minutes, but I want it in hours really. So I'm going to, instead of 15 minutes, I'm going to put a quarter of an hour. If you're not sure, you can just write 15 over 60 in your calculator. So 15 60ths of an hour. 15 minutes out of 60 minutes, which is the whole hour, is a quarter of an hour. So 6 times a quarter is 1.5. So the first distance is 1.5. The second distance, speed, is 9. And the time, again, we've got minutes. So 40 divided by 60 changes it to hours. 40 minutes is 2/3 of an hour. So 2/3 times 9 is 6. So the total distance, 1.5 and 6, is 7.5 miles. And we want Amy's average speed. So speed is distance divided by time, and she does it in 45 minutes. So speed for Amy is distance, which is 7.5, divided by time, which is 45 minutes. Again, I don't want 45 minutes. So 45 60ths is 3/4, or 0.75. So 7.5 divided by 0.75 is 10. So it's 10 miles per hour. Question 28. The diagram shows rectangle STUV, TQU, and SRV are straight lines. All measurements are in centimeters. The area of QUVR, trapezium QUVR, so Q to U to V to R, that trapezium, the area is A centimeters squared. Show that A is 2x squared plus 20x. So we could either work this out as a trapezium or split it into a rectangle and a triangle. So this length here is 4x as well. It's a rectangle, so it's 4x over here. We've got 5 up here, that's the same as RV, and Q to this point here, it's 3x, take away 2x, so it's 1 more x. So we have a triangle and a rectangle. The area is, well, the area of a triangle is half times base times height. So half times x times 4x. And we've got a rectangle, which is 5x times, no, 5 times 4x. 5 times 4x. So let's simplify this, and we should get 2x squared plus 20x. So x times 4x is 4x squared. 5 times 4x is 20x. And half of 4x squared is 2x squared. So 2x squared plus 20x. Question 29. Change 30 meters per second to kilometers per hour. So if we go 30 meters in 1 second, how far can we go in an hour? So 30 meters in a second, if we times by 60, it will tell us how far we go in a minute. So 30 times 60 is 1,800. So 1,800 meters in 1 minute. Then times by 60 again, and it'll tell us how far we can go in an hour. So times 60 again. So 108,000 meters in 1 hour. But we don't want meters per hour. We want kilometers per hour. So 108,000 meters, to change from meters to kilometers, divide by 1,000. So divide by 1,000, and it's just 108. So 108 kilometers per hour. Question 30. The value of Michelle's car has decreased by 15%. The car now has a value of £13,600. Work out the value of Michelle's car before the decrease. So there's a few ways of doing this. If we had 100% to start with, and it's gone down by 15%, we now have 85%. So we've got 85% of the original price. 85% of X is equal to £13,600. So 85% of what number is £13,600? So I could write this. I could write 85% as 0.85 and others times. So I could write 0.85x is 13,600. And to get x by itself, divide both sides by 0.85. So 13,600 divided by 0.85 is 16,000. So that's my answer. What I could have also done from this point, I could have said I've got 85% of my number is 13,600. I could have said divide by 85 to get 1%. So 161% of my number is 160. Then times by 100. So 100% of my number is £16,000.